Hi, everyone. My name is Kim, and I'm the founder and creator of Expat Mama. Through these interviews that are both in the audio podcast and the new YouTube channel, we educate people about what it's like to be an expat, which is someone who's left their native country to live in another. We tell their stories. Today, my guest is Sergio Acosta, who's originally from Kansas City, Missouri. He currently lives in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. So I'm excited to interview him. Welcome, Sergio. How are you doing today?
Wonderful. Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you for coming on. I'm so excited to see what you're about. So let's start at the very beginning. Like, where are you from? If there is such a place, where you grew up, kind of talk about your upbringing.
Sure. I'm the product of two Mexican nationals who migrated years before I was born, but I was born in San Jose, California. My dad worked for General Motors. Got transferred to Kansas City when I was about 2 or 3 years old, and raised there. Had a great upbringing, spent a lot of time in the woods, hiking, camping, and Kansas City is kind of a unique city that it straddles Kansas and Missouri. Most of it's in Missouri, but before I left, I was living in a neighborhood called Strawberry Hill, which is on the Kansas side. But I've had businesses on both. I opened a lot of bars in Kansas City. I've been involved in filmmaking, developing artists, musicians, that type of stuff. And yeah, now I have a bar in Mexico, in Puerto Vallarta, a little restaurant, dive bar, is what we say.
Very cool. Very
the
cool.
Gusto, the shirt.
Is that the name of it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's all on Facebook. It's Facebook and Instagram. It's the Gusto Lounge. Because I had this brand 15 years. This is my third location for it in Mexico. But down here locally, I call it Gusto Imperial because the bar that it is in was called Imperial Bar. So everyone kind of knew that bar. And so I just put the names together just for marketing. But social media, it's the Gusto Lounge.
Awesome. We're going to put some links in the description below so we can do a plug for all of your stuff that you're doing.
Yeah, if anybody comes down, I got a free margarita or a beer on me. You can take it down to my bar.
Hey, if you mention Expat Mama, you can have a free margarita or beer. I love it. I'll be over there.
Yeah, I'll set you up.
Okay, so it sounds like you had a pretty awesome upbringing, surrounded by nature and doing some pretty fun things.
Yeah, it was a good balance of city life and suburban life and just, woods and running around, getting pigs picked off of me and stuff pretty regularly. But
love it.
Yeah, it was nice.
So what's the story about how you ended up in Mexico?
I kind of hit my own glass ceiling in Kansas City. I couldn't see any more direction where I was going. I kind of accomplished what I was set to accomplish, and I was kind of depressed, really, probably drinking too much and not just being motivated. And a couple of years ago, I had my mom. I had a property in Kansas City, but one of them was a apartment building that has a commercial commercial space downstairs. Upstairs, I had an apartment. I gave my mom the apartment next door, and I had promised to go to Mother's Day Mass with her one year, and I was just too hungover to make it, and she was obviously upset that I wasn't there, and so she's crying through Mass, crying through brunch, and my sister was nice enough to give her a taser to teach me a lesson, and so I woke up with my mom tasing me to get out with a taser. It was a little fuzzy stick, and she's pretty much, what are you doing? You're almost 40, you need to find a wife, settle down, that type of stuff. So I was gonna go to Guadalajara or Tepa, or it's either Tepatitlán, and we decided to take a week vacation in Puerto Vallarta before I was kind of just gonna be left in Mexico. And while I was here, I met my now wife, and she had been here. She moved to Mexico from Bolivia, and it was pretty much chemistry right off the bat once I met her, and extended my vacation and then moved back and figured I'd just find a bar, and now we have a bar and a little restaurant a couple blocks from the beach. And yeah, that's pretty much how I ended up here. My mom tased me on Mother's Day.
Now, Sergio, you're talking to a hopeless romantic. So you've got to give us a lot more details than what you've just given. So get going.
Well, it was kind of funny because when they set our reservation up at the resort, they gave us one bed instead of 2 beds, and so I love my mom, but I'm not trying to wasn't trying to spend the whole week sharing a bed with her. So I never had any luck on those dating apps, where you swipe.
Swipe left, swipe right, right?
Yeah.
Join the club, by the way, on that one.
never had any luck with that, but I was like, I'll give it a go. Maybe I could be like a hobosexual and find a place to live for a week.
Oh, gosh.
And so there's a app called Bumble, which is more female controlled, where the girl has to talk first. And we had that first night we matched, and she had sent me something, pretty much like, how are you? Well, this is something really easy. We were talking in Spanish, and I said, oh, I'm great. I just got in town. I love your art. Some of her artwork was tied to her profile. And then I never got anything back that whole night. So I just figured I ruined it somehow. Like she ghosted me, and I was like,
she ghosted you
and complimented her art. But
excuse me, we women don't ghost. It's always the men that ghost us.
Well, I felt like I was ghosted. So I went down to the bar downstairs, drank enough so I could pass out next to my mom. Next day I got up kind of early and had a few margaritas, and was it summer? It was like late June, so it was really, really hot down here, and I kind of passed out, marinating in the sun. So I was like, I'm just gonna go back to the room and take a nap. And I woke up around 6 p.m. and she had been messaging me. Maybe it was 7. She's like, oh, I'm at the Sheraton at brunch with some friends. You want to come down? I'm like, oh, shit. I'm staying at the Sheraton. I'm sure you're not still here. It's been 6 hours. I apologize. I fell asleep. And she's like, well, I'm having one last drink on my way home. If you want to come find me, I'll be here for about 20 minutes. So I just did a shower in a can with like the Axe and threw on whatever clothes I could find and raced my way there. Told her I was about 5 minutes late. And the bar she was at was pretty busy. So I went inside trying to remember her face off of my phone.
And it's never the same as what it is when you're looking at it when you actually meet them, right?
Yeah, I mean, she don't know what to expect. So I'm looking, I don't see her. And the patio is really busy, and I get out to the patio. Right away, we like locked eyes, and she spilt her beer. Like she got nervous and like spilled her drink. So I kind of was like, oh, she's nervous too. And yeah, we had a great conversation. We talked art history, religious history, political history, political theory, just stuff that that it's very kind of niche conversation with somebody, and it was nice. And so she was like, well, I don't have to go home. If there's something you want to do. I told her I like to play billiards. If there's a place to play pool. She's like, yeah, I know a place. And so I said, well, I'm going to use the restroom, and I'll come back, and we'll get an Uber and cover the tab and everything. And by the time I got back from the bathroom, she had already paid the tab and already gotten the Uber. I was like, well, that's a first.
Hey.
Yeah, so she had done all that, and we went out and played some pool, got some wings, and ended up at which Puerto Vallarta is a big gay community, so we ended up at gay karaoke. She was asking me if I sang anything, and I said no, I'll rap something, but I don't really sing. And she was like, what do you rap? I did a Kanye West, Flashing Lights. I had the whole club dancing around, and
no way.
She's pretty impressed with that. So I came down, and we had our first kiss.
Love at first karaoke.
Love at first. Yeah, the whole night was nice. And
nice.
We started winding down. I told her, I was like, well, let me get you home safe. I'm not expecting anything, but just, I had a great time. And we got back to her place, and it was kind of way out of the way. It was not like near kind of most of the city. I was getting a little nervous because about 4 a.m, beautiful girl from South America. So I was half thinking that she was going to take one of my kidneys or organs. And I was getting set up. And so we get back to her place.
It's a real thing in South America. I've lived in South America. So
yeah, it happens.
I know. Yeah.
So I didn't know where I was. I had no idea where I was in the city. So I like pin dropped my friends. I'm like, hey, if my phone dies, this is somewhere
this is where I'm at. Here's the GPS. Come get me. Or come get my body. Yeah.
Yeah, I came up and she's like, oh, you want wine or tequila? I'm like, yeah, whatever you want. I'll use the restroom. And I went in just to make sure there's nobody hiding there with a bathtub full of ice. It was just a shower, regular bathroom. So that was fine. So I realized she really liked me. And so we spent every day. Her schedule, she was off of school because of the summer, and she's working on her second degree in Mexico, which is art. She's a really talented artist. And so yeah, I introduced to my mom the next day and hung out with her every day. That was like, we just kind of courted for that whole week. And I wanted to stay longer. And my mom wanted to go to Guadalajara. We had plans to go see some family that I hadn't seen in a while. And I told her, I was like, I would really prefer to stay here, and I'll meet you back in Kansas City. I'm gonna stay for a few extra days. And my mom was like, well, I don't want to ride the bus by myself. And I was like, well, that makes sense. I don't want to be stranded by yourself on the, she's never done it before. And so I had been filming in Colombia the year before. And so I had a Colombian jersey, and by chance, Colombia was playing a game that evening. After I said goodbye to Naomi, I was pretty upset, kind of teary-eyed about it. And I'm wearing my Colombian jersey. And I'm with my mom having a couple last drinks before we leave the next day. And this guy comes up to me and he's like, points at my shirt, talking to me in Spanish. He's like, hey, are you Colombian? I'm like, no, I bought this in Medellin though, when I was filming. And he goes, oh, I'm from Medellin. And so he joined me with his wife, father-in-law and son. And we were all kind of talking. And he told me after a couple hours that they had just been there on vacation and they were going back home tomorrow. And they're going back to Guadalajara is where they lived. So I was like, hey, do you mind, you got room for my mom? Take her back to Guadalajara. So I sent her off.
My mom off to Guadalajara.
Yeah, so that's exactly what happened.
Love it.
So she ended up going back with them, and I just had my little bag. And I showed up at her house, and she was surprised I couldn't even find it. And stayed another few weeks. And I figured, that there was something serious, and that we were both on the same page. And I told her, give me a couple months, and I left 4th of July that year. I came back, and then I told her I'd be back. I came back September 11th was the day I moved back to Mexico, which was the cheapest time to buy a flight, obviously.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I was looking at the window.
There's a lot of people that are suspicious about flying on that day, right?
Yeah, it's the cheapest. Yes, I got the cheapest one way.
Cheapest, September 11th. You remember all the dates.
Yeah.
4th of July and September 11th. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so we I found an apartment, and then her mom, she hadn't seen in a couple of years, came up from Bolivia for a month, and so I got to ask her if she would let me marry her daughter. And then my mom came down to visit, so I did a whole live stream on Facebook for the engagement. On that, so I did that December 26th. We got engaged, and then we opened the bar in February. Then the pandemic hit, and then so that was kind of a year of that. And then in March, February. So in February, I started planning our wedding because we're planning 3 weddings. So one here, one in Bolivia, then one in Kansas City. So the one PV we did on the beach where I proposed to her, and we had about 120 friends, and some family came in town, some friends came in town.
Nice.
And we planned it in 6 weeks, and and so we got married the 27th of March, and then we're planning on a Bolivian wedding in July.
Of this year? This next year?
This year coming, yeah.
So you're a newlywed. So you just got married in March?
Yeah, March 27th.
This year? Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Very excited. Yeah, it was nice. And now we have like a little, we have my bar's next door. I'm in my apartment. So we have a little 3-bedroom, 2-bath. And then next door is my apartment, is my bar.
Perfect.
That's actually my wife messaging me.
Oop.
That's all right.
Who's that woman you're talking to on Zoom?
Yeah.
This sounds like a cool story. It's kind of fun. I love keeping it light,
Yeah, it was kind of a whirlwind.
But when it's right, and why wait?
Yeah. Well, no, we had that instant connection, and we both kind of explained what we each wanted to do and what we were both looking for, and we both felt that we were on the same page with all that, so it worked out.
That's awesome.
It was sweet. It was very sweet, and she's perfect. Yeah, she's lovely, and yeah, we just kind of fell into each other's lives at the right time, and we met at the right time. Like we fell very well.
Because everything is kind of about timing, isn't it, Sergio?
Yeah, it is. You got to trust the process.
Exactly. So getting away from the romance, getting back to daily life, woohoo, that's not as exciting, but I'm going to ask you.
Sure.
So what does your life look like in Mexico, like on a daily basis? What would you say it kind of looks like?
Well, we both kind of, we share a lot of responsibility. So she essentially runs the bar. I mean, she manages it. When we first met, she was working full-time, going to school full-time, and then whenever the pandemic hit, they started doing like Zoom classes and stuff. So she didn't, it was an hour to get there, an hour to get home from the university. And she was working at a little tour business here. And when I started the business, she gets up really early. She's kind of, 8 or 9, she's usually up. And we have a dog. We rescued 4 dogs last year. And we kept one, found homes for the other.
Do you hear my dog banging on the door there trying to get out?
Trying to get out.
That's our rescue, thinking that he's in prison.
Yeah. we found 4 dogs on the beach pretty much. My sister has one, my friend has one. We lost one, but then we still have Sancho. And so they love going to the beach every day. So she's up, she'll do inventory, do the accounting. and then I usually close, so I go to bed around 4 in the morning, so I'll sleep until
You
about.
guys are open all night then.
Yeah, we open at noon and then we close at 2. But by the
Wow.
time I get home and settle, I'm usually don't go to sleep until about 3 or 4. But around sunset, she takes the dog to the beach. Like I said, it's about 2 blocks away for the sunset. They play. We have our own restaurant, but we usually eat out, cook breakfast here, have lunch somewhere, maybe dinner at the bar, and then we like to travel. So we've been to Mexico City quite a bit. We did a 4-day tour of Guanajuato, Querétaro, Celaya, San Miguel Allende. It's kind of nice being here because I have a lot of friends that come visit. Lots of family and friends come visit pretty regularly, and so we'll go with them for overnight in Sayulita. But it's not too complicated, really. I mean, we just kind of live to live, Really walk around, hang out, have friends over. We try to go to the movies as often as we can. Everything's just so much more reasonable here, You just go to, it's my bar is a dive bar, so but it's 25 peso beers, 40 peso margaritas, like $1, $2, and we have like little empanadas. But
What bar are you guys located in Vallarta?
Yeah, we're right here in Cinco de Diciembre, so like 2 blocks from Playa Bronze. It's San Salvador 262 if anybody's in the area.
Good.
But yeah, it's super chill compared to the States. The States, I just felt like you're kind of just running around. And plus, I don't really like winters. Winters are like the worst. So I mean, for years I kept on saying I don't want to see winter ever again. But it's chill. I mean, you don't really have to. Nothing's really too pressing. Nothing's too stressful for the most part. Except for the distributors doesn't have beer sometimes. Like right now, like Corona's not having a Corona because all the resorts are buying it for the holiday season.
So you can't get Corona beer there because everybody that's all sold out during the pandemic.
Well, no, it's because the high season now that people are finally coming back. So all the resorts
high season right now,
everything, Pacifico, Corona. So it's just you have to like go find other options to buy it, so that's been the only really stressful thing this month for the most part. But it's been nice. I had 4 friends that were in town for a few days, and then I'm going up to Sayulita, and then I have another friend coming. My friend Amanda comes down for the holiday. My buddy David was supposed to come down only for a couple of weeks, and he was here for like 6 months. I think he's moving down here.
Harris, do you feel like, I mean, you're in a touristic area. My area isn't. My area where we live, we're in the same state, which is Jalisco. I'm in the Lake Chapala area. My area is more like a retirement area. There are a lot of.
I have family over there.
You have family in this area where I live?
Yeah. Yeah. One of my cousins has a restaurant right there on the lake.
What's it called?
I have to ask my mom. She knows. I've only been there once, but she's there quite often because she's from Tepatitlan, which is on the other side.
Yeah. So, are you seeing kind of like this? I don't want to say caravan, but like a movement of people from North America heading to Mexico right now? Because I'm seeing it. What are you observing?
Well, especially with the pandemic, because it made people's it taught people that they didn't have to go to the office. You know what I mean? And so it gave people that much freedom that they got their work done. They had more time, but the problem was being in the States is you couldn't do anything. You couldn't go.
Right, you were all stuck inside. I was in Northern California this last year, and that was the worst year of my life, I swear.
And that's well, because it's just the isolation is just depressing. You know what I mean? And then you just can't do anything. So a lot of people who come here, there's a big digital nomad community down here, and a lot of them they're just like, well, why am I going to go back? What am I going to go back to? And so. Exactly. They stayed. So there's people who were planning on for a 3-week vacation, in March, and just never went back, and
they turned it into a permanent vacation.
They turned it into a permanent vacation.
Well, actually, they just what they did was they changed it for a life that they don't need a vacation from.
Well, yeah, exactly. It's just like, are you working to live or living to work? It's like
exactly.
People you can. You're stuck in the office just to be there for 8 hours, but you only really have 5 hours of work, 4 hours of work, you're wasting you're just wasting time that you could be doing something. And so I think people just figure that out pretty quickly that once you're down here, that if you can get your work done, keep up on your work and be a functional member of the team, but that shouldn't be your life. You shouldn't have to take it home with you. like your boss shouldn't have to call you when it's on your time,
Mhm.
It's,
And you can do a lot more with a lot less.
yeah, and there's just so much more free. Like, one thing about Mexico is that the good and bad about it is that the bureaucracy, no one's really trying to do their job. You know what I mean? So there's not really too many people like interfering with your daily life bureaucratically.
Mhm.
If you hurt somebody or you steal, then you're gonna get something's gonna happen to you. You know what I mean? But if you're speeding or if you're just out, you're not gonna get harassed so much. You know what I mean? Like I feel safer driving in Mexico than I do in Kansas City, anytime,
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
if there's a cop behind me in Kansas City, I'm like, okay, I know I'm not doing anything wrong, I mean, but you just don't have to deal with, you don't have to deal with that.
Well, it's kind of like there's the system. It's a system that a lot of North Americans don't understand. But in my city, for example, they just kind of look at like you go and then, and then the car goes, they kind of communicate with each other and they figure it out. And there's a respect factor. I really
Yeah, it's
love
kind
it.
of, yeah, it's
It's a different way of driving. I don't know. At least it is in my area that way. I don't know.
Yeah,
about
it's like a gentleman's game of chicken. It's kind of like you kind of fill out how who, because I mean, there's not really stop signs here, but you have to just kind of see.
So what are stop signs in Mexico? Is it law or is it more of a suggestion?
Or definitely more of a suggestion.
Yeah, exactly.
Even one ways are kind of a suggestion, it's like everything.
Stop if you want. If you don't want it, it's okay too. But please don't run anyone over in the process. That's
pretty much it. Yeah, as long as you don't hurt nobody, you're fine.
As long as you don't hurt anybody, that's cool.
Yeah, as long as you figure it out, you're good.
So I was just looking. I'm sorry. Did I interrupt you?
Okay. No.
I was just looking at your questionnaire here, and I was asking you about hobbies and interests, and you said that you're a local writer. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, my friend David, he had a company he still does, I guess, called Vallarta Yacht Charters, and he just is kind of he's always doing something. And he just started the best of Banderas Bay, because the whole bay is Banderas Bay, everything from like Maito all the way to Yalapa. Mm-hmm. And so it just kind of highlights the lifestyle magazine for expats. And my background was in filmmaking, and I go to the movies all the time, so I just kind of picked up a gig doing the critic for theater and film for the magazine. And then I've been working on a few projects for hopefully to make it on camera at some point. So I have a couple shorts ideas and a couple features. So I just finished doing my first draft of a feature film that I'm looking to maybe get done next year.
Oh, that's awesome. Sounds like you got a lot going on, but it sounds like you have a pretty high quality life from the way it sounds.
Yeah, I'm trying to do, I'm really looking forward to working out, bringing musicians down and having a little collaboration with local artists here. We're working on opening an art gallery in the spring.
Oh, an art gallery. Wow.
Yeah, well, because we know so many local artists here, and I've worked with a lot of artists back in Kansas City, so it'd be nice to create residencies for some international artists to come to Puerto Vallarta for a month and then have a showing,
Nice.
And do that backwards with Mexican artists, send them to galleries that I know in Kansas City. But my cousin's restaurant in Chapala is called Puerta de la Iguana. I don't know if you've heard that.
What is it called?
Yeah, Puerta de la Iguana.
Okay.
If you see it around, it's
Pierna de la Iguana.
Yeah.
The leg of the iguana.
Yeah, like Rock of the Iguana.
What's it about?
No, that's the restaurant in Chapala. My mom just responded. Puerta de la Iguana.
Okay, I'll have to look for it. So it's on the Malecon?
I know it's on the lake.
On the lake. Okay, I'll have to look for it. I've never seen it, or if I've seen it, I don't recognize it, but I will definitely look for it.
It's a pretty big spread out property, but it was good. I went there once. Like I said, my mom's down there a little more often.
I'll have to check it out. So I wanted to ask you, so for example, a lot of my format or my platform is expat life. Mm-hmm. How would you compare, like, I mean, you've been down there for 2 years now, full time in Mexico, right? That's what you told me? Mm-hmm. Okay. So how would you compare your life, like the before and now the after, or the present, we should say?
I mean, it's just, I mean, they're two different lives, two different lives, pretty much. Like, I mean, I miss, there's aspects of back home you always miss, like your friends that you run into, and,
Yeah.
so some of your routine, I miss. But it's not hard to get back. If I need to get back, there's international flights going out of the airport every day. I just got to take a connection through Dallas or something. And down here it's more. I mean, the food's just better. I mean, everything I eat is coming from a farm within like an hour away from me. Like all my eggs are fresh. My chicken is fresh. My steaks are fresh. The seafood's super fresh.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna get seafood like this fresh in Kansas City. I mean, so.
No.
I mean, I just go to the beach, get a dozen oysters for $6, 120 pesos.
Oh wow.
Like
that's unheard of in the States. Is there anything that you really miss in the States though?
I mean,
your people.
Just people, really, just the friends.
People,
and I used to see my dad every day when I was in KC, and I've seen him maybe twice, since I moved back. My mom, she comes quite a bit. She likes it down here a lot, so she's here almost half the year, now.
Okay.
And so, but I think me being here gives people even the option to even leave Kansas City, if they're going to do a vacation for a week. Like, okay, we can go just see Sergio. So we have a lot of company, not particularly just to see me, but it's a nice option since I live somewhere that people would want to visit and hang out and see. So that's really cool. Mm-hmm. But I mean, lifestyle wise, I wasn't married. I've never married in Kansas City, so there's, a tragic, timeline of good and bad relationships, but I'm very happy,
You were a menace to society. That's what you were.
A little bit, yeah. That was a little bit of a menace.
Just kidding.
I'll give you that.
Somebody needed to come in and pin you down.
Yes. Yeah, it was good. I think it's just
and civilize you.
That's one way. Yeah, that's one way to put it for sure. I have my moments.
And it had to be a woman from Bolivia. You had to look south of the border for that one.
I'm very excited to go see Bolivia too. Like, I think, we'll just see how this migration works. I think, as people, the U.S. and Canada start finding out, the secret, some of these deals are gonna be harder to find. Some of these places are gonna be overran, what I mean? And I just, there's always gonna be options, but you don't know. I don't know where it's gonna go. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see that, because I just, the worst is when people come here, you always want them to respect local culture and kind of the way things are, that you're not in America, you're not in Canada, that you have to kind of be part of the community here, and sometimes sometimes people don't understand that because their world is so centric around them, themselves, or what they think it should be, and that's just one piece of advice I would give anybody that comes down here. I mean, but you can live under, $1,500, like locals live on under 1,000 or $800 a month, and raise families.
That's about what we live on too. That's our whole family budget for everything is about $1,500 US per month.
Yeah. And,
I don't think we really pay much more than that. Our rent is around 500. Yeah. So I think it's probably more where you live. Our area is a little bit less expensive, but
yeah, you can find
tourist area. Yeah.
You can find deals. I had a cousin just move here, who found her a nice little 1-bedroom. We have friends. I mean, you can find the deals, as long as if you kind of take the time and especially if you want to live like in a local neighborhood, that you can definitely almost fit any budget.
Mm-hmm. How important do you think it is to speak Spanish or to at least learn it?
It's important that, I mean, you don't want to look like you're coming here colonizing, like, and not caring about that it's a different country, different local, I mean, it's important to know basic stuff and wanting to engage and asking questions and learning certain phrases, I mean, because that just goes a long way, because not everyone speaks English, and they shouldn't have to, I mean, some of them have to because it's the job. They work at resorts or they work in the service industry. But if you're going to the tiendita, you have to understand like how to say what you're looking for. I say bread or eggs or beer or bathroom.
Basics, yeah.
This basic stuff. But even now with technology, like Google Translate, is a huge help for a lot of people. That you can type in exactly what you want and it'll speak it out to the person.
Yeah, for sure.
And they can say it back to it's really cool. But and if people want to learn Spanish, one of the little hacks that I learned is if there's a movie that you've seen or a TV show that you just know, if it's Friends or if it's Seinfeld or if it's, any movie that you've seen 100 times, that if you watch it in Spanish, with English translations, then you can start to kind of get the vernacular and the way the story goes pretty easily.
Good tip on that one. Whoa, what just
Oh, no, sorry.
walking around? Okay. So let me just ask you one last question here and we'll kind of wrap things up. Oh,
sorry. No. 1 second. Let me. I got my cleaning lady here. There's a tour of my apartment. So this is my kitchen.
Oh, okay.
And then this is my other bedroom. There's my dog. That's Sancho.
Okay.
And then there's another bedroom over here. There's another bathroom if you can see it back there. Come here, Sancho. And then there's the living room, and upstairs is a rooftop. But every Monday we have our nice lady kind of clean, that helps us keep our house organized.
Oh, I believe in that too. That's the one thing that I will not have. You've got to have somebody, if it's affordable, which it is in Mexico,
Yeah.
I can have my whole big house clean for the equivalent of $17 every time she comes, which I think is pretty awesome.
Yeah. We do that, then we tip, so it's about 500 pages. But 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, and the kitchen and the dining room.
Nice. Yeah.
And then, baby, you want to say hi? Hey, my wife just got in, so you can see.
Oh, let's meet your wife. Hola.
Hola, hi,
Okay,
nice to meet
soy
you.
Kimberly. ¿Qué tal? Felicidades.
Muchas gracias.
This is Chapala.
En Chapala, very
Sí.
nice.
Sí.
¿Cómo es español, inglés? No sé.
Well, I'll translate it. Do you speak English?
Yeah, I do speak English.
Okay, yeah, we're doing an interview that's going to be up on YouTube. So yeah, it's in English.
That's great.
So
He doesn't
his wife
know
is-
the details to me, so I'm just like messaging him.
But
That,
I actually speak both. I'm fully bilingual. I used to live in Argentina for
oh,
yeah,
look at that. I'm
18
from
years,
Bolivia, like right there.
right next door to Bolivia. Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I want to go there and visit too. I would love to
Yeah.
go to Bolivia. Yeah.
Very nice to meet you.
Oh, nice to meet you too.
What's this about?
Probably just about the difference between America and Mexican life, how I ended up here, how mom tased me,
Oh, yeah.
how we met.
Yeah.
Expat life. You've
What
got
would
a
you-
very beautiful wife, by the way.
Thank you.
Oh,
Very
thank
lucky.
you.
¿Cómo se
Well,
llama? ¿Cómo se
Uh,
llama? ¿Usted cómo se llama?
Naomi.
Naomi. Okay. So your name is Naomi. Okay. Perfect.
Naomi Kino, yes. But soon Naomi de Acosta.
Yeah. After
Yeah.
Bolivia.
Naomi Acosta now.
Yeah. Naomi Acosta, yes.
That's right. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well,
Yes.
Sergio, is there anything that that I haven't talked to you about that you'd like to just say to wrap things up?
No, like I said, thank you for having me and making the time. I'm glad we got the Zoom to work out. If you're ever my way, like I said, there's a margarita with your name on it. And
Aw.
yeah, if there's anything else, if you look through this and you're cutting it, and there's anything else you want to expand on, we can always make time and
We
follow
can
up on
always
it.
do a part 2. Don't worry about it. And would you like to be contacted? We can put anything in the description box. And if so, how can people contact you?
Sure, I'll you want me to type it in? It's at the Gusto Lounge on Instagram, on IG. I'll put it right there, and then just the Gusto Lounge on Facebook,
Facebook.
and that's the logo right there. So you can
Okay.
look for it.
Gusto and Imperial or Imperial.
Yeah, but you're never gonna find that if you look it up. It's the Gusto Lounge, but this was just kind of my local T-shirt that I put together for it
That's
for
awesome.
for the local branding.
Awesome. Hold that thought for just a second and I'll come back. So for those of you who are watching, thanks for watching. We'd love to get your comments, suggestions, feedback, whatever, because we're building a community. Our mission here is to educate people about what expat life is, what life is like in other countries, not just Mexico, but other countries as well. And I have been to Medellin, which is totally the bomb that you
Yeah,
mentioned. That place is awesome. We feature a lot of interesting perspectives in these podcast interviews in both English and Spanish. So stick around. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'd love to get to know you. Sergio Acosta. Sorry, I didn't speak it in the English version. It has to be Sergio. I can't even say it in English anymore.
Sergio Acosta, Sergio Acosta.
Okay, thank you, thank you. I can't adapt to the English version. I've known too many Sergios in my life. Thank you for coming on, and yes, we'll definitely be coming to Vallarta one of these days, because I have a margarita with my name on it, and I'm not gonna let that go to waste.
Expat Mama, yeah. I have a blog called the Mexpat on Facebook too.
You have a blog called The Expat?
The Mexpat,
The
MEXpat.
Mexpat, yes, I love it. Okay, we're gonna look for that too.
I haven't done it in a while, but it's there.
I love it, the Mexpat, yeah, that's awesome. Well, we're gonna be very much in touch, and I'm gonna come and claim my margarita for sure. And thank you.
Yeah, and I'll find you if I'm on your way.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Okay, talk to you later. Bye-bye.